So this is amazing. I mean, it's brilliant that I think we're doing this. So really, this is an amazing initiative, and one that I fully support. I mean, I would love, I'm sure you all think this, wouldn't it be amazing to get to a point where we actually don't have to do any of this, and actually it's just embedded in the culture of what we do, what we're about, and it's reflected in our content. But until we get to that point, I think there is, we need things like this to redress the balance, I think, because it's clearly skewed not in the right way. I think we all agree that. So look, you're here to hear what I'm going to tell you what Factual's looking for. So, but before I do, I can't not acknowledge my great loss of Fatima this week, who is obviously going on to the most amazing job. But so I'm covering obviously for her today, especially Factual. But the thing I just want to say about her is that she has completely influenced not just me and not just the department in Specialist Factual and Docs, actually across the wider channel. She's influenced the way we think about things, the ideas that come in, the people that make things, the talent that we use on screen. And I promise you that is properly, her legacy will live on for a long time, because there are people she's brought to us and introduced us to that are now making programs, fronting programs that we just didn't know about, which is amazing when you, it just proves you put people like that in leadership, people like Fatima, who've got a different voice, a different upbringing, and have not done those kind of jobs before, and they suddenly change the way we commission and what we commission. So I promise you a lot of lessons have been left with me, which is brilliant. So look, our job in Factual is to reflect the mood of Britain, and that's at the heart of everything we're going to commission. So, and we want to hold authority to account, we want to question, receive wisdom, and we want to entertain broad audiences, obviously. But we also want to be the home of new, diverse faces and untold, underrepresented stories. And it's something clearly we've always had an ambition in, and that continues. And I'm going to give you a list of priorities across Factual, which we are really open for at the moment, which I hope will be helpful for you. There's sort of headlines on. I'm going to go into a bit more detail on some of these, but the headlines are, we are looking for probably one more film that's in response to COVID-19. I would say we've commissioned several things, and we've got one or two in development. And I'd say we're looking for one more next year that looks at the story having moved on, and what the consequences and what we're left with COVID-19. Now, that might be social consequences or might be medical consequences, but we are looking for one thing in that space. In climate change is a huge area for us, and we are looking for one really big, really big sort of audacious moment or experiment. We don't want a collection of films. We want something that absolutely blasts open the schedule, pierces the schedule, or whatever sort of cliche you want to use. But we're really looking for something that is really going to attract a lot of attention. And then another really big thing for us, and I'm going to show a clip of this in a minute, and Kelly referenced it, is we're looking for a new face who's going to front documentaries for us. We don't have a Louis or a Reggie or a Stacey in Channel 4, and I'm desperately wanting to find one. And Fazia Khan did an amazing job on a program looking for, on a project that she looked after, looking for a new face in docs. And it was a diverse face in docs, because I think that's what we all felt was the right way to go. And we found someone, we think. She's done one film for us, and I'm going to show you a clip of that in a moment, not just yet. And you can tell me whether you think she's got it in her to do more films. I hope you think she does. The other thing we need is a big returning series at 9 p.m. that is not blue flashing light. We've got probably enough chasing ambulance. We've got enough police, I would say. So what is that space? Is it in the family? Is it in the area of jobs and welfare? So that's an area that we're looking at currently. We're going to reinvent Secret History, our brand of Secret History, which is a brilliant brand, and it's got an amazing name. So we're going to hold on to that. But we want it to, this is a real opportunity, because we're going to put these films, and we want to commission several of these for next year, and we want them to be, have a very strong point of view. We want them to be more in the sort of Satnam Sangera film, if you saw that, the David Lammy film. We want them to be in that vein, so a piece of more revisionist and with a strong point of view that's probably author-led. Not always, though, they don't always have to be. And they are particularly, we're aiming those particularly at BAME-led companies and nations and regions. So that's a really good area for us, and it's a particularly good brand. We also want a returnable science series, and you know, Alex has been on to me for ages saying, why don't you do a new version of Tomorrow's World? And actually, at first I was like, I don't know about that. Don't people just look at that stuff on YouTube, find it on YouTube? Actually, I think there probably is something in that, and we'd be really up for something like that, or in the sort of science health space, like Diagnosis on Netflix is one of our influences. We think that's a really good reference. So that's in that area. The last thing I just want to say, which is a steer, is we're looking for a docuso at either 8 or 10 p.m. Now, this I'm especially looking for. I would really like to do, and I've said this a few times recently, but we're looking, there's a series called Desi Rascals on Sky, which I love. I would love to find a docuso within a black community, a British black community, and that's a priority for us. I think that will be a really good thing for us to do. All this stuff, by the way, is on the website as well. But I'm just going to give you just a couple more areas, just a bit more detail of what we're looking for, because there's areas that I've not talked about, which I think I should just touch on. So in art, for example, we hope to bring back Grayson's Art Club, which was a big cut-through thing for us in lockdown. But Shaminda, who leads on art, she's done some brilliant films, of course, like the Peter Nyong'o's Warrior Women, 100 Vaginas, Lem Sisay, Akram Khan, and we are looking for more in the 100 Vaginas, I would say, vein. We've got one about penises. I mean, that's the logical next step, right? So arts is an area that we've got a couple of, I would say 2 or 3 opportunities for in 21. I'm more talking about 21, by the way. And then I would say 8 p.m. You know, we're also looking for, apart from the docusoap, we're also looking for more high street access or household name type of access that will do well for us at 9 p.m. 8 p.m. I beg your pardon. And 9 p.m. You know, we're also looking in this, which is part of history in a sense. This revisionist, we just announced the Spice Girls, which is in the Jade vein, and I think it would be good to find something that actually speaks to something else in the history of Britain that might even be looking at race in Britain, perhaps over the last 25, 30 years. So think contemporary Britain, think who might be at the heart of those stories that might open up something bigger for us. That would be really good. I also just want to talk about single films, and then I'm going to talk about partnerships as my last thing. So the single films, we want to do 6 single films next year, and I've pledged to a minimum of 6, I should say, at 9 p.m. I've pledged to make at least 4 of those from female directors and or be it black or brown directors, because that is a real issue for us. It's a real issue for me. I don't think we've got enough coming through, and that's because we've not looked hard enough, in truth. I think Rita, as Kelly said, Rita Daniels has done an amazing job for us on new talent coming through, and that's been in First Cut, and that's been brilliant. And but we'd be looking for more 9 p.m. Single films that probably cut through a bit more, some in the sort of Barrymore vein, some in the more, so that is a bit of piece of history and a bit more investigative documentary, and some that might be following contemporary subjects with actuality. And then also, of course, we've got talent, and this I want to talk about Yinka, who's obviously part of Single Films, but I'm hoping we expand Yinka, we do a series of films with her because she's such great talent. So Yinka Bikini was found, like I said, by Fozia on this project that we set up looking for new on-screen talent. And she came from Acme Films, found her, and she is quite special. And she's made this film also with a very new director. It's actually his second film. His first film is airing next week, in fact. Ashley Francis Roy made a film for us. He won the first cut pitch last year in Sheffield. He made an exceptional film which is going out next week. You have to watch that. It's 21st of July at 10 p.m. Please watch that. His next film that he's directed with Yinka is very personal to her. She grew up with Damilola Taylor, and it's the 20th anniversary of his death, of his murder, and she's done this film where she goes back and she meets the people that she grew up with on the Peckham estate. Here's a look.
I remember this Nigerian lady popped her head out of a balcony and was like, hey, hey, hey. And we were like, yes, auntie. And she said, my son's coming down. Can you look after him? He comes running out of the lift shaft and he had light brown hair and freckles. And I remember being like, if you're black, why do you have freckles? And we were like, do you want to play football? I remember telling Damilola, I don't know how you do it in Nigeria, but this is how you play it here. This is how we play it. The kid that I knew was always shouting and running and jumping and screaming and laughing. You found it? No way. What, is it in here? No way.
This was to be Damilola Taylor's new world, Peckham in South London.
Oh my God. Oh, it looks horrible, doesn't it? I've actually got chills. Oh, I feel funny. Oh my gosh, that's my house across the way.
In Peckham, Damilola was quick to make new friends.
He was like jumpy, like a jumpy boy. He was like, you know, if someone said shut up, he was a shut up back. And then imagine someone throw a stone at him, he'll get a big pile of stone to throw at him.
If you read all the magazines and everything, you'd think that he was like a really gentle and everything, but he wasn't. He was like my little brother. Rough, and he didn't really care what he done. But if he hurt you, he would say sorry and he would apologise.
Oh my God, that's me.
But when you say rough, you mean... You don't mean he was bad, it was just a normal boy?
No, it was like me, like me. Or like my brother. Like, yeah, like my brother.
When you're 11 and you're told that your friend has been murdered, you don't know how to process it because murder isn't natural.
Oh, sorry, I'm back. I hope you agree she's really brilliant. She's incredibly natural, and she is. I'm desperate to find a face for dogs, and I know I shouldn't say this kind of publicly because it's going to jinx it, but I've got really high hopes for her, and I hope we can do more with her. So just very quickly, lastly, I just want to talk about partnerships, because this is a really big deal for us, for all of us actually, across all genres, in that we're looking, a lot of us are looking to be co-commissioning either with other broadcasters, perhaps in the US, or we're looking, or around Europe. We're also looking for partnerships with AFP. If you don't know AFP, that's the ad-funded partnership that we have in-house at Channel 4, which is a brilliant team where we do some commissioning with them. And there's some money surprisingly knocking around for the ideas. Now, you can talk to the commissioners about this when you talk about ideas, but that will become a very common thing in conversations with all of us moving forward, because it will be a way of keeping, particularly in factual, premium factual going, so we don't, we're not losing that premium factual edge that we want to do, that will allow us to do other things around the schedule. So when you hear us talk about AFP, don't feel intimidated. Also, don't feel intimidated if you don't know any US broadcasters or streamers. We all know those, and we can make those introductions or even do some of the conversations on your behalf.